Hey, welcome! So what if I told you that the furry creature sleeping on your laptop right now knows more about love than most of us? That sounds a little out there, I know. But today we're diving into some really cool philosophy that says our cats, well, they might just be masters of affection. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's just be real for a second. For a species that writes endless poems and songs about love, we're not always great at it, are we? We overthink everything, we put up walls, we create all this drama. So what is our problem?
The philosopher John Gray, well, he doesn't pull any punches. He basically argues that for humans, love often gets twisted into this messy knot of pride, cruelty, guilt, and pity. That's a pretty harsh take, but if you think about it, how often do those things creep into our own relationships?
Right, so before we can appreciate the cat's way of doing things, we really need to look at this tangled web that we humans tend to weave for ourselves. And this right here gets to the heart of the issue with some brutal honesty. The idea is that so often, we're not actually falling in love with a person, we're falling in love with the idea of love. We use it to run away from ourselves, to avoid looking at our own anxieties and our own fears.
And that brings us to the core reason why our love gets so messy in the first place.
Philosophers have a term for this. They call them existential holes. It's that deep down feeling of emptiness or loneliness, that little bit of dread we all get sometimes. And what's our first instinct? We try to find another person to plug up those holes, hoping they can somehow make us feel whole.
And wow, this just lays it all out, doesn't it? Look at the human column. It's all about need. We're looking for someone to save us from being lonely, to heal our past traumas. But a cat curls up in your lap for one single beautiful reason. It just wants to be there. That's it. No hidden agenda.
So where do these existential holes even come from? Well, according to Gray, it's our own amazing, complicated brains. It's our ability to think about ourselves, to worry about the future, to question our own existence. That's what creates all this anxiety. It's a curse that seems to be pretty uniquely human.
Okay, but enough about our human problems. Let's pivot to our feline gurus and see what they can teach us about a much more sincere, uncomplicated way to connect with another being. This metaphor for the human mind is so powerful. The idea that all our constant self-analysis and worrying literally creates these little fractures in our sense of self. It perfectly captures that feeling of being kind of fragmented, or even a little bit broken.
And then, in total contrast, you have the cat. A cat isn't worried about its 5-year plan or its purpose in the universe. It is whole. It is complete. It is totally untroubled. Just a single solid monolith of calm.
Now this brings us to a really cool concept called impersonal egoism. It sounds super academic, I know, but it's actually really simple. A cat just does what's in its own self-interest. It looks for warmth, for comfort, for a nice scratch behind the ears. But here's the key. Because it doesn't have an ego or a self-image it's trying to sell you, everything it does is completely sincere. It loves selflessly, just by being itself.
So, what does that actually look like? Well, first, a cat never feels like it owes you something for the food and shelter. It stays because it genuinely enjoys being with you. Second, it has zero expectations for who you're supposed to be. And third, its affection is just a pure, simple gift of its presence. That is it. No strings attached.
Okay, so this is all really fascinating philosophy. But what's the actual takeaway here? I mean, what can we really learn from our cats that we can apply to our own complicated human lives?
I think this might be my favorite idea in this entire explainer. When we love an animal, we're practicing affection in its purest, simplest form. It's like an exercise that purifies our emotions, stripping away all that pride and guilt, and just lets us connect honestly. It's literally a workout for our emotional muscles.
So here it is, the Feline Masterclass, all summed up. Just imagine a relationship based on these ideas. One where you don't feel like you owe each other anything, you just give freely. Where you don't try to change the other person, you just accept them. And maybe, most important of all, where you come together to share happiness, not to escape your own misery.
And that's really the ultimate lesson here, isn't it? True, sincere connection isn't about finding someone to rescue you from your own problems. It's about being whole enough on your own that you can simply, freely share the joy of being alive with someone else.
So I want to leave you with this final thought. We're all so programmed to think of love as this epic quest to find our other half. But what if the cats have it right? What if it's smaller and quieter and so much simpler than we make it? Maybe it's just about finding a warm patch of sunlight to share,